This world is not yet ready for all that you will do. Your time will come, Diana. And everything will be different.
Citizens of the world,
I'm here to change your life.
anything you want, anything you dream of, you can have it.
You look like you saw a ghost. Diana, look at you. It's like not one day has passed.
I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be an apex predator.
You've always had everything, while people like me have had nothing. Well, now it's my turn.
Get used to it.
I've never been one for rules. The answer is always more. The way I fly, they will never find us.
I forgot to tell you.
What?
Radar.
Will they shoot at us?
Barbara, what did you do?
You know, I'm not so keen on this one. I figure you are, but you know what? I'm ready to go.
I think we can do better.
Parachute pants?
Yeah,
Does everybody parachute now?
How about that Wonder Woman 1984 trailer? And we finally got to see Cheetah, well, in full Cheetah mode. So this is going to be my breakdown, everyone, of the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. I'm sorry it took me a while to get to it, but there's so much coverage coming out of DC Fandome that I've been uploading a couple of times a day. If you haven't seen it, or if you've missed some videos, I suggest manually going to my channel and just checking some of them out. I think all of you would be interested in all of them. Put a lot of effort into them, and I know some of you will enjoy it, or hopefully all of you, so definitely check them out. But today's video is about this awesome trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, so we're going to get into all of the details from the trailer, some theory, some speculation, and just, I really hope you go on to enjoy it, and if you do, I'd really appreciate a like, maybe even a share. Other than that, strap yourselves in, because, let's just start right at the beginning. So we get that scene of the flashback to Themyscira. We can see tons and tons of Amazons taking part in these Amazon-like games, or these Amazonian-esque kind of Olympics, if you will, where we see Diana as a kid once again, and I loved seeing this. It was really epic. I don't like to use that word, but I only really sparingly use it. But just seeing how she's going up against these much older Amazon warriors is just so good. Absolutely owning all of them. Now, obviously, this just indicates how talented Diana has been ever since she was just a young child, let alone compared to that of your typical Themysciran. But yeah, I absolutely love this. But we get a good demonstration of Wonder Woman in the next scene, swinging off this lightning. At the same time, this kind of cut in with the Amazon games. But everybody lost their minds over this when we first saw it in the previous couple of teasers. And I love this. I can't wait for all the amazing visual shots that we're going to get in this movie. This looks so aesthetically pleasing as it is. So just seeing this as a reminder on top of all of the other really interesting visual shots, let alone just seeing Wonder Woman swing off freaking lightning, not to mention probably flying, because we do get to see her in that gold suit, so I think it's fairly predictable that she's actually gonna fly in this movie. I think it's kind of needless to say that the Wonder Woman fans are eating good tonight. Well, and every day, to be honest. One of my favorite actors at the minute, Pedro goddamn mother frickin' Pascal, just steals the scenes that he's in as Maxwell Lord in this trailer. I mean, obviously, towards the beginning, we see him broadcasting these messages from the White House, offering the world anything they want due to the Dreamstone that's in his possession. And I also just love how they included the fallout of that, because we see with how that ability, the population of the world is delving into this absolute chaos. I mean, could you only imagine if this, could be granted to the masses, and what would happen if you got what you desired, so to speak, and that came to fruition? Yeah, it's kind of yikes. We get to see Wonder Woman in the White House, kind of related to the broadcast, fighting Cheetah. Well, there's a bit of a confrontation, but obviously she's likely trying to stop what he's got planned and just kind of encouraging it even more and more to the masses. I absolutely love the whole 80s aesthetic to this movie throughout the trailer as well. Obviously, this is Wonder Woman 1984, and I kind of know some people at this point are saying that the 80s hype of shows and movies are getting a bit old or it's already dead, but no, not for me. I'm all for it. Now next, we get a scene of Maxwell Lord saying to everyone in the broadcast that you can have everything you've always wanted, which conveniently enough, the trailer then cuts to Diana seeing Steve again, of which seems to be their first reuniting moment because, well, what does Diana of Themyscira want more than anything else? Her boy, Steve. Now, we do get some more exploration into Cheetah, who just, kind of doesn't want to be like everyone else, and, how she says, I want to be this apex predator. Now, she very much so contrasts Diana. I mean, she's this kind of essentially seduced person by the promise of Maxwell Lord, and at this point, with Wonder Woman and Cheetah in the White House, though, it kind of seems that she hasn't fully self-actualized her full-on Cheetah form or mode yet. And here you can just see some very clear-cut scenes of her desires. She says to Diana she's always had everything, but people like her, Barbara Minerva, Cheetah, have never had anything. And you can kind of just see her leap towards Diana. So she's getting her abilities progressively, but she hasn't gone full-blown Cheetah yet. So she's, transforming into Cheetah throughout the events of the movie, when the ball obviously really starts to get rolling with the whole wish stone fulfillment for everybody. And also notice how you can see Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord in the background there, just kind of, I don't know if he's carrying away or whatever he's doing, but it kind of makes you wonder what his desires are through the Dreamstone. I just realized I call it the Wish Stone, but it's the Dreamstone. Now, it wouldn't remotely surprise me if it's to basically have absolute power and to control not even the United States, but maybe even the world. And the reason why Diana has to go through all of those guards is because that's probably already actualizing for him, and they're just following suit to their new boss. The big internal conflict of this movie that I really like, and it's going to be kind of heart-wrenching for all of us really hardcore, even any fan to be honest, is it will be Diana coming to terms with letting Steve go once again. This is going to be torturous for her and all of us watching it. Now, there's a trade-off essentially with everybody getting what they want in the movie, or for those who do one thing for another thing, so to speak. So Diana may very well indeed be losing some of her Wonder Woman abilities in order to keep Steve around. But ultimately, she's going to have to choose between the greater good and how the world kind of needs her to play her role as the protector in the grand scheme of things, which will require her at full OP Wonder Woman godlike level strength. But in order to do that, unfortunately, Steve has to go, also likely through the Dreamstone being destroyed, and, she will never have that opportunity again. Now, another example of this point of just Wonder Woman, Diana, if you will, just kind of losing her power and just struggling, is that moment where she's trying to separate those two trucks here. Now, this usually wouldn't remotely be hard for her at all, but as the movie progresses, she loses more and more of her godlike strength and other abilities, and it's got to come out in moments like this. Another perfect example of this, once again, is in the White House, where you see her with the typical clashing of her wrist guard power being released that normally sends out that little echo wave, but this time it kind of just drizzles out and fails to make a scratch on Cheetah, who just leaps right through it. Now, mirroring this, we get many scenes of Cheetah becoming more and more badass as she grows into hers, but also becoming less and less like herself. And we're going to see Wonder Woman still be badass, I just want to say that, of course we are, throughout all of these near powerless scenes that she's going through. And of course, she's still going to have Steve there to help her, as you can see in moments like this on screen. Plus, she still is, even without her powers, an Amazon trained warrior. So she's very, very proficient, even without those powers at their full extent. Also, just taking a little bit of a deeper dive into the contrast of Wonder Woman and Barbara Minerva, you can kind of guess what Barbara has to give up to get her powers, and that's the very thing that makes her Barbara. Basically, like giving up a piece of your soul in exchange for what you want, without the full aspects of her humanity there due to her desires to become this apex predator, as she puts it, being present in the film. She's no longer that person we see in the trailers or the prior trailers who seems to be this genuinely sweet and nice, well, person. She just becomes this kind of unempathetic, narcissistic, like, you know, power-hungry, power-complex villain as a result, but honestly, it's kind of out of the motivation of tragic desires and her past life. Because we can't forget, she kind of looks at herself that she's never had anything, so often those people go kind of ham on what they want, and yeah, we see exactly how that's affecting her. And I just love, by the way, seeing Wonder Woman and Steve in the jet, that scene in the trailer, kind of bigging himself up like, you know, I'm this great pilot, but he's so naively unaware about the technologies of the 80s compared to his time, so obviously they could be found on the radar, whereas back in his time he probably could have been talented enough to disappear, which also just matches so many parts of the trailer. There's going to be many comedic moments as well as heart-pulling moments in this film, which, you know, is often my favorite blend of movie or TV show. For example, in the prior trailers, when he was looking at that garbage bin as like a piece of art or wondering if it was, or in this trailer he was like, does everyone go parachuting now? But guys, I think we need to talk about that full-on cheetah mode. My god, it's just great. It's like, in my first glance at the trailer when I was reacting on the live stream, I mean, I was impressed. I was really into the trailer, but I just wanted a bit of a closer look because I was also, I'm sure like a lot of fans, were slightly concerned about it being a similar Cat situation, but I think it's more than obvious that this is complete badassery mastery when it comes to delivering fans a faithful comic book adaptation to screen done well. I mean, at least in my opinion. I mean, you could just tell at this point in the trailer, or should I say in the film, when they're finally fighting, Diana has evidently got her powers back, which is why she's standing toe-to-toe with Cheetah again, compared to earlier on in the film where she was getting her ass handed to her because she kept Steve around. So I think you can kind of understand where I'm going with this. We're gonna get our hearts ripped out again with Steve going bye-bye once again. However, with this whole wish stone thing, I do hope that Cheetah doesn't completely resolve back to the Barbara form, you know, where with her humanity back, as mean as that sounds. I mean, it's just kind of selfish, obviously, fan desires that I want her to remain, if they figured out some way for her to keep locked into that Cheetah mode, which is also tragic because obviously she would have permanently lost her humanity compared to that sweet person we've seen from the prior trailers, and she would just be permanently this Cheetah form, this comic book character, just like how I like in the comic books. I'm not a big fan of what they did to Black Mask in Birds of Prey, for example, where it's like, oh, Black Mask, but like, oh, he's dead at the end. I like them to kind of stay around, whether they're apprehended, locked up, or just contained somehow. Hope that happens to Barbara Minerva, despite perhaps the stone maybe being destroyed by the end of the movie. So that is the main consensus of this main Wonder Woman trailer. I'm personally hyped for this, mega hyped. It looked great, looked visually stunning. Wonder Woman is amazing. It's one of the best things going for DC, to be honest, and I think we've all known that since the first Wonder Woman film came out. It was like a beacon in a dark time of like meh to okay films, obviously depending on how much of a Snyder beginning of the DCEU era fan you are. I mean, I'm a Snyder fan, but I think we can all agree that Wonder Woman offered us a new perspective on how you can get different flavors of movies that work within the DCEU. So guys, I need to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget, I read every single one of your comments. Might not be able to reply to all of them, but I try to give out hearts when I can, and I just love hearing you nerd out just like me over all of this DC fandom content. Also, just like this video, I would really appreciate that. I have been working my ass off on all of these videos, so yeah, thank you once again. If you did, just go ahead and do that. Subscribe for more videos like this. But honestly, guys, just thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see all you them Mascaran Amazonian badasses in the next video. Goodbye.